So you've been thinking about moving to Raleigh, North Carolina and wondering what this mysterious area of North Raleigh is all about, especially if you've been focused on the popular suburbs of Cary, Apex, Wake Forest, or Holly Springs. I bet you want to know more about the pros and cons of North Raleigh before going all in, and that's just what I put together for you. After living in North Raleigh for nearly 17 years and having pulled hundreds of my clients, I've narrowed down the top pros and cons of North Raleigh just for you. My name is Pete, and I'm a local realtor who helps people just like you find the right fit in the Raleigh area. And whether you are moving in 9 days or in 9 months, just reach out and get the conversation started. You can use the contact information I have in the description below. You can call, text, email, or even set up a Zoom. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell below. That way you can always be sure to have the best content about the Raleigh area and the market in Raleigh. Now, before we dive in, I just want to make sure I orient you to what I consider North Raleigh by taking a look at a map. So when I take a look at this map, we can see the airport is a great point of reference up here in the northwest, this little gray area right here. The road that you see here is 540. 540 is considered the outer belt line. It encircles much of Raleigh. Eventually, it's going to link back up here in Knightdale. There has been quite a bit of development on North Raleigh on the south end that has opened up a lot of areas in the south part of Raleigh. The 440 is considered the inner belt line, right here. Been around for a long time. Inside 440 is considered inside the belt line. ITB is what it is called. So if you are ever talking to someone and they say, I live ITB, or I was at a house ITB, they mean in this area of of Raleigh. On the north, we have NC 98. It goes from Wake Forest over to Durham. The main road going north-south out of Raleigh, this is 50. It's also known as Creedmoor Road. So we're going to kind of map this out. What is North Raleigh? Where are the limits of it? Hang tight, we're going to show you. So in my definition, I'd start up here at 540 and 70. Coming down 70, which is also known as Glenwood Avenue. Down around here, Crabtree Valley Mall. Crabtree Valley Mall is the local mall in the area. We'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to jump over North Hills. That's an area unto itself, very much like a midtown area of Raleigh. Very cool area, lots going on, but not really North Raleigh anymore. We're going to come over here to Old Wake Forest Road and Falls of Noose Road, which kind of go back up north over towards this Bedford. This gets into kind of a Wake Forest area. So we're going to cut over Falls of Noose Lake up to NC 98, cut over, and then I'm going to cut down the Wake County line is basically in that area right there. So everything kind of over here is really Durham County. And as I said, we are skipping this North Hills area, pretty much a midtown area. Some people might throw in the Briar Creek area over here. That's another area unto itself. There is a country club over there where most of the people in Briar Creek live. There is a lot of shopping. There are Target, Walmart, Sam's Club. There is also movie theaters and restaurants and things like that, all in Briar Creek. Not really part of North Raleigh, but nonetheless, very cool spot that you probably want to check out. But the area in red, as you can see, is primarily what I consider to be North Raleigh. So this is the area we're going to talk about. I really like North Raleigh. I'm a North Raleigh resident, and so I have a lot to share. So let's dive in. Let's start with the pros. The first pro is that the area is peaceful. It is what I like to call one of Raleigh's first but still growing suburbs. There are often small lakes around the neighborhoods with fishing. There's biking trails and hiking trails at places like Umstead Park or Lake Lynn or Shelley Lake, or even up in the north, Falls Lake, which is a fully recreational lake on the far north part of North Raleigh. There are no homes on Falls Lake, so the entire area is a park with mountain bike trails, hiking trails, and of course the fully recreational lake. The neighborhoods in North Raleigh are generally places that I would say you can come home from a really long, hard day at work or a day enjoying the outdoors and the parks and just find it to be peaceful, relaxing neighborhoods. Raleigh is known as the city of oaks, so it is very green, especially North Raleigh because it's been around for a while. Most of the foliage is very developed and it is very green city. If you find that trees and shade are relaxing, you will love North Raleigh. It is also an area with Southern hospitality, even though there are a lot of people, probably the majority of people, not having been from here, but there's still that Southern hospitality. Your neighbors are likely going to want to have a conversation with you, and people are going to hold open doors for you. All of those things are what make North Raleigh a really peaceful place to be. Number 2 in the pros, proximity. Now, this is a big one for North Raleigh. And I group a lot of topics into this proximity bucket. The first under the amenities bucket for North Raleigh is that it is close to the airport. Many people you'll hear say RDU, which is the airport code, and most of North Raleigh is as little as 10 to 15 minutes from the airport. Now, keep in mind that this airport is not just a sleepy small town airport. It is a fully international airport with direct flights not only to major cities like San Francisco, Seattle, Dallas, Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, Atlanta, Tampa, all the major cities in the Northeast, but also direct flights to most of the major cities in Canada, as well as direct flights to London Heathrow, Paris, Frankfurt, Reykjavik, Iceland, Cancun, Bermuda, Panama, and quite a few direct flights to regional destinations like Pensacola, Florida, Burlington, Vermont, Buffalo, New York, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think you get the idea. You have easy access to travel to and from RDU. And living in North Raleigh, you can easily Uber or take a taxi from North Raleigh to RDU and avoid parking to catch your flight. If travel is your thing and you want to do some local travel, North Raleigh gives you access to places like DC in 4 hours, Savannah in about 5 hours, Charleston in 4 hours, or even more local, the Raleigh area gives you easy access to the beach in 2 hours or the mountains in 2 hours. So you can get to Carolina Beach or out to Topsail or out to the mountains and hit up places like Boone and Blowing Rock or Brevard, which is always really nice in the heat of the summer. It's about 10 degrees cooler in the mountains than it is in Raleigh in the middle of the summer. So pro tip, schedule a few days in the mountains in July or August to escape the heat. Just book early because a lot of people try to do the same thing. There are no train depots in North Raleigh, but living in North Raleigh puts you within 15 to 20 minutes of 2 train stations. There's one in Cary and one in downtown Raleigh. The Amtrak routes that go through Cary can take you to places like New York, Chicago, Charlotte, Miami, and the Raleigh train station offers a very similar service. So needless to say, Raleigh gives you all kinds of travel options for either flying, driving, or even by train. Next up in proximity is that North Raleigh is close to economic centers like RTP and downtown Raleigh. RTP, also known as Research Triangle Park, is likely around 15 to 20 minutes, depending on where you go in Research Triangle Park. So there are businesses like Fidelity, Cisco, Lenovo, a lot of big tech companies, a lot of pharma companies in Research Triangle Park. And downtown Raleigh is likely about the same, 10 to 20 minutes, depending on where you live in North Raleigh. If you're way north in North Raleigh, maybe 25 minutes to get downtown. So if you're living in the heart of North Raleigh, probably 10 to 15 minutes just to get downtown. So really easy access to get around from North Raleigh. I love that. I can live in a place that is peaceful and quiet and have some space, but still be able to get to economic hubs and nightlife very quickly. So that proximity is what most people enjoy about North Raleigh. They can spend more time with their family, getting to the kids' events or participating in the community because they have relatively short commute times. So something to keep in mind for North Raleigh. You also have proximity to things to do. So North Hills, tons of stuff to do with shops like Anthropologie, Bonobos, Lululemon, Madewell, Restoration Hardware, which this Restoration Hardware also has a signature restaurant on top. It is very cool, overlooking all of North Hills. So check it out if you come to Raleigh. Ask me about it. I will point you in the right direction. And there are other restaurants that are kind of unique, like Cowfish, which combines burgers and sushi. Rosewater is a very popular place to go. Bar Taco is individual ordered tacos, very good. And there are hotels like AC Hotel and the Raleigh Renaissance. Although none of those are in North Raleigh, you are very close to North Hills living in North Raleigh. You also have access to Crabtree Valley Mall, which is our local large-scale mall, which has all kinds of restaurant options and all the stores that you would expect, like Gap and GameStop and Hollister, Athleta, those kinds of things. So, in North Raleigh, you just have a lot of options for shopping, for restaurants, and the restaurant scene of North Raleigh is actually pretty good itself. Even though you have proximity to North Hills and downtown, you may just want to hang out in North Raleigh. Places like the Angus Barn off of Glenwood Avenue is known locally for top-notch, you guessed it, beef. Ask me about how to make your order the most economical and still have a really good meal. I'll tell you all about it. And if you plan to go around Christmas to the Angus Barn, make sure you book early because their Christmas scene is top-notch and their decor is top-notch. People book out many, many months early in order to get a seat at the Angus Barn, probably from mid-November all the way through mid-January. So make sure you book early if you're planning to go at one of those times. Other places that I love in North Raleigh are Dos Taquitos. I love getting their steak tacos. That's off of Glenwood Avenue. Nancy's Pizzeria, which is off of Creedmoor Road, in North Raleigh near 540, has award-winning Chicago-style pizza. Margot's has a little bit more fine dining. And if you don't find what you want in North Raleigh or in North Hills, your access to downtown Raleigh is super easy, where you have access to James Beard award-winning restaurants. There are food halls like Transfer Company Food Hall and bakeries and a decent nightlife scene, but that nightlife scene assessment is coming from a guy who generally goes to bed around 9 or 9:30. So take it for what you will. Besides all the access to parks, the airport, jobs, and downtown Raleigh, restaurants, and North Hills, you also have easy access to all kinds of fun stuff, not in North Raleigh either, but very close to Pullen Park, which is downtown, Gibson Play Park, which is Raleigh's newest park, south of Raleigh. Very awesome place to be. Tons of stuff to do there. There are holiday events downtown, the History Museum, the Natural Science Museum, Marbles Museum, IMAX, and one of my kids' favorites is actually the Durham Museum of Life and Science. So you have a ton of options that, although they are not in North Raleigh, you're probably 10 to 20 minutes away from all of those things. There are tons of sports programs in North Raleigh. There's baseball, soccer, hockey, gymnastics, lacrosse, ninja warrior courses, swimming, tennis. I think you get the idea. You can live a peaceful life in a great area, but still have access to bigger city amenities within minutes. Pretty cool. So number 3 in our pros is a strong economy. And chances are you are interested in moving to Raleigh because it has a strong economy. Either to make sure you live somewhere where your property values will be fairly stable, or maybe you're interested in moving to Raleigh because of a current job or potential job opportunities. Your research is likely very accurate. pharma, tech, high-skilled manufacturing are all major players in our economy. And being the capital city for North Carolina, we also have a very robust government job market. But what I think is really cool is that Raleigh has a secondary job market or industry market that those major things bring. There's tons of opportunity and investment in the area by companies like PwC, Google, Gilead, Meta, and Apple. It brings a startup scene. It brings investment opportunities. It brings new opportunities for you to find things that maybe you never even thought of. And in case you're curious, Apple is still planning to build a headquarters just outside of North Raleigh in the Morrisville area, which will ultimately impact property values in North Raleigh over time. So keep that in mind. That is still in the planning. The city and state are really focused on keeping industries and businesses interested in investing in growth, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Living in North Raleigh gives you access to participate in a strong economy and those opportunities. So let's talk about our number 4 pro: schools. Now, our real estate rules don't allow any realtor to tell you which schools are specifically good schools, but I am able to share with you resources to help your decisions. And I can tell you that there are a lot of options for schools in North Raleigh. There are public schools, private schools, charter schools, and even Montessori schools. There are year-round calendar schools and traditional calendar schools. All are great options, and I think you'll find what you are looking for in terms of education and needs all around North Raleigh. It can be a bit daunting to kind of sort through all that. And before you get started searching for a home, it really is best to get smart on what you want, especially if you have school-age kids. And even if you don't, it's probably a good idea to better understand that as well, because those things can impact your property values. A few resources that I really like that help out my clients are niche school rankings. I'll put that link in the description below, and a really cool resource called School Up NC. I'll put that link there as well. The rankings, that's pretty self-explanatory. School Up NC is really a consultancy that helps you compare options between different schools within Wake County, Durham County, or even Carrboro County. So you have a lot of ability to engage with people who's made it their job to understand where there are schools that might be capped, what schools have special programs like baccalaureate programs or special AP programs or special athletics, or maybe you have a unique need for special education or something like that. Those resources like School Up NC are incredibly valuable. So I highly, highly recommend them. We also in North Raleigh are very close to NCSU, North Carolina State University in downtown Raleigh. It's about 15 minutes from most of North Raleigh. Durham, there's Duke right up the road, 25 minutes from North Raleigh, maybe even 20 minutes. Or in Chapel Hill, you're going to find UNC Chapel Hill, about 20 to 30 minutes from most of North Raleigh. So you have a lot of options for post-secondary education, master's degrees, PhDs, things like that, in just by living in North Raleigh. A fun fact about UNC that some people miss is that it's actually a state school. So just like NC State, those fees for in-state tuition and fees are about $10,000 a year. So pretty reasonable for some really good schools. They're pretty competitive. Wrapping up kind of the pros, there is a lot to offer in North Raleigh. You've got proximity, you've got opportunity, you have great opportunities for schools, lots of things that you are close to, easy access to, very peaceful place to live. So let's talk about some of the cons. So the number one con for North Raleigh is that driving is required in North Raleigh. You might be able to get out and take walks in your neighborhood, but you're probably not going to be walking to the neighborhood store or the neighborhood coffee shop or, going to a neighborhood museum, things like that. North Raleigh has close proximity to, jobs, travel, schools, tons of activities. And the neighborhoods, like I said, are great for walking, but you are going to need to drive. Even if it's for only 5 or 10 minutes to get to a grocery store, you are going to need to drive. there is not much in the way of mass transportation in North Raleigh. Go Raleigh is the bus service that operates North Raleigh and traffics throughout the city. And you can commute kind of north-south along some of the main thoroughfares to downtown Raleigh using Go Raleigh. Of course, we have, great Uber and taxis and things like that, but most people by and large drive. So keep that in mind. With that, our second con is traffic. This is a big one for many people, especially those who have been in Raleigh for many decades, like myself. So if you're coming from another area, large metropolitan area like, Chicago or LA or New York, the long commutes and the traffic congestion in North Raleigh may not be a big deal for you. But let's talk about what traffic looks like in Raleigh. I'm going to go back to my map here and show you what that looks like. So here we go. So I'm going to mark out some of the main roads. So this is Glenwood Avenue, Creedmoor Road. This is Leesville Road. We've got Six Forks Road. And this is Wake Forest Road, Old Wake Forest Road that turns into Falls of Noose Road. So those are the major thoroughfares that are coming out and into North Raleigh. They extend, like Six Forks goes all the way up here to 98. Leesville Road kind of traffics out this way. So, and of course, Creedmoor Road goes all the way up to 98. So these roads are the primary arteries north-south through North Raleigh. And of course, we have 540 arcing across the top. You can imagine at high traffic times, you're going to find traffic and congestion on most of these roads. If you're on 540 and you are headed to the west in the morning over into the Research Triangle Park area, you're going to find a lot of traffic going west in the morning. In the evening, you're going to find a lot of traffic going east. So keep that in mind. In terms of north-south, if you're going south towards downtown Raleigh in high traffic time in the morning, there's going to be traffic. Coming back home, there's going to be traffic. Middle of the day, very easy to get around these roads. Not a lot of traffic. And when you're considering how to get around, what I think is really cool is there are a lot of little arteries that you can take to bypass some of that traffic as you come and go during those high traffic times. So while it may be a little bit daunting sometimes to get in that traffic congestion, it's not terrible. High traffic time from this way north part of North Raleigh to get all the way down into downtown Raleigh, instead of, say 25, 30 minutes, maybe it takes you 40 minutes. In terms of trying to get to Research Triangle Park, if it normally took you 20 minutes to get there, now it might take you 30 to 35 minutes. So we're not talking about massive leaps in time that you have to plan for, but just be aware of it. And for those of us who've been here for a while and saw Raleigh with very little traffic, it's been a bit of an adjustment. So when you're looking at homes, I think it's just key to keep in mind where you need to get to and when you need to get there. So number 3, we're going to talk about weather. So depending on where you're coming from will significantly impact your overall opinion of Raleigh's weather. We do have 4 distinctive seasons in North Raleigh and all of Raleigh. Although some people joke that we have really 3 seasons, summer, winter, and pollen season. Fall here can be kind of short. We go right from summer sometimes right into more of a winter season. And pollen, you may have heard of, is a big deal in the springtime. So from mid-March to early May, don't get your car washed because it's going to be covered in yellow pollen. Yellow pollen is primarily coming from the pine trees. Although we are known as the city of oaks, so lots of oak trees, we also have a lot of pine trees. And you will see it floating around everywhere for about a month and a half, 2 months in the springtime. We also have quite a few other things that are blooming at that time, like everybody else. That's generally what gets most people's allergies. The yellow pollen is primarily just annoying, so you're going to see a lot of it. Besides pollen, what are our seasons like? Well, summers They are hot and humid, starting early in June and ending end of August, early September. Temps are typically going to be in the upper 80s, low 90s, and the humidity is pretty thick. It's definitely a nice time to take advantage of the area lakes. There are a lot of pools at places like Seven Oaks or Springdale. Those are private swimming pools and tennis clubs, but there are a lot of neighborhood pools as well. So a lot of opportunity to take care of, jump into pools. It's also a good time to take advantage of the proximity to the mountains. So I recommend going to visit Boone, Blowing Rock, Brevard, Black Mountain. Those are all really cool places to go during the summer. Enjoy some of the rivers. You can swim in some of the small streams and rivers, take hikes, bring a towel, bring some change of clothes, and go for a long hike, jump in the water. There's nothing better than doing that in the middle of the summer. So enjoy that tip. If you're from Florida or if you're coming from California, those are going to really impact your opinion of how hot and humid it is in the summer. We do have hurricanes, but they are rarely bad here, right? So since 2007, I've lived here since 2007, and I have not had any bad experience with hurricanes in Raleigh. They do come by, you may get some little bit of wind, some big thunderstorms, but by and large, Raleigh is not a place that is impacted tremendously by hurricanes. The coast is, but not so much Raleigh. So the fourth con that I want to point out for you is the cost of housing. The cost of housing has increased dramatically over the last decade or so. And there is a bit of a housing shortage for great single family homes in North Raleigh. And I'm going to show you quickly what kind of that looks like in terms of median cost of single family homes in Raleigh, because that's definitely increased in what you should expect. What you see on the screen here is the median sales price for North Raleigh starting in 2022 through 2025. So where we at today. If I look at where we are today, the median sales price for single family homes, all construction types and all sizes in North Raleigh is $675,000. So that's pretty steep for a median cost of home. If I were to go back to 2022, we're looking at $560,000. So we've seen quite an increase even over the last couple of years in the price of homes for North Raleigh. If we were to take a look at townhomes in North Raleigh, the average price of a townhome, the median price of a townhome in North Raleigh is around $409,000. So, obviously a little bit less, a little bit more affordable in the townhome space. For single family homes, let's look at months of supply. So this gives us a little indication of what's happening in the market. You can see that the amount of months, the inventory on the market in North Raleigh is currently somewhere around 2.2 months of inventory. What does that tell us? Well, it really means that we are still in a seller's market. Now, there are pockets of homes that maybe don't sell quite as well, and buyers are a little bit more particular and want to find specific things and reject those or don't jump on them as fast. So you might see some increased days on market. We'll look at that in a second. But by and large, 2.2 months of inventory really means that on average across North Raleigh, sellers have a little bit more leverage in the transaction than buyers. So it means that there are more buyers out here that are looking for their homes and competing with you when you go to buy a house. So we don't really switch over into a buyer's market until we get closer to 5 months of inventory. So we're a long ways away from a very strong buyer's market. Days on market, let's pull this up. Look at this. Going into the beginning of the year, our days on market was all the way up at 28. Now, I don't know if I believe that we're all the way down to 3 days on market on average in North Raleigh for a single family home. There may be some glitch in the algorithm there, but the trend is over this spring, we have had a decrease in the amount of days on market. So just interesting stuff for you to take a look at when we're considering the cost of housing in North Raleigh. It isn't cheap to live in North Raleigh. Now, there are homes available in North Raleigh. Don't be discouraged if your budget isn't $675,000 or you don't want to live in a townhome for $400,000. There are options for you in North Raleigh that are $450,000, $500,000, $550,000 that are in great neighborhoods with access to all kinds of opportunities for schools. So don't feel like, man, my budget is just nowhere near there and I can't get into North Raleigh if that's where you want to be. Give me a ring, give me a call, text, email me, take my contact information, set up a Zoom. We'll talk about it. I will tell you the reality of where you can find the right house for the right price for you. If your budget's, in the low 300s, it's probably not going to be in the cards to be in North Raleigh. We're probably looking a little bit further out, places like Garner, Clayton, maybe Wendell, Franklinton, Youngsville. A little bit further out is where most of that inventory lies. So just something to keep in mind. Number 5 con, animals. Now, I love animals. I love seeing wildlife. My 2 boys and I, we love being outside. We're always looking for animals. We're picking up frogs. We're fishing. We're always looking at deer and looking for fox and coyotes. And we love animals. But there are a lot of animals in North Raleigh, especially north of 540. Number 1, you're going to see a ton of deer. And those deer, they love to eat everything. So if you move into a house and you have grand plans for lots and lots of landscaping, even deer-resistant landscaping, just be very mindful of what you put in and how much you spend, because you want to make sure that landscaping lasts for you. So they eat a lot and they are on the roads quite frequently, especially in the evenings north of 540 and especially in the fall when it gets into the rut season. Some of those deer get kind of dumb, and there are a lot of them on the roads in the evenings, especially in the fall. You may have heard about snakes in North Carolina, and in particular, copperheads. Yes, we do have copperheads. They are not the most poisonous snake on the planet. They do have venom, and we do have quite a few of them around North Raleigh. I have lived here since 2007, and I bet I can count on 2 hands how many times I've seen copperheads that I wanted to avoid. 0 times have I been face to face with a copperhead that I thought was going to, strike me individually. It is still fairly rare for people to be bitten by copperheads. They're not the most aggressive snakes. They just don't like to be bothered. So if you get really close to them, you're about to step on them, that's when you might, find a problem. Dogs sometimes get bit. There are treatments for them. They're generally not lethal for humans, but it is something to pay attention to, especially in the morning hours. Sometimes if you're out running in kind of that early morning, very little light out, sometimes they're hanging out on the road trying to stay warm or on a sidewalk. So just make sure you wear a headlamp if you're a runner or a walker early in the morning or late in the evening. We do have mosquitoes. You can spray for them. There are all kinds of things you can try to do for them. I'm originally from Minnesota. The mosquitoes here in North Carolina have no comparison to the volume of mosquitoes in Minnesota. So my perspective on that is probably very different than somebody coming from somewhere like, say, Arizona. But we do have ticks. We do have quite a bit of pine straw, and the ticks kind of breed and like pine straw. So if you have pine straw around your house or you have a lot of pine trees, I would recommend you probably want to make sure you at least have your pets treated and consider treating your yard to kind of keep those ticks at bay. But besides that, nature around Raleigh is great, and it is available everywhere in Raleigh. So places like Umstead Park, Lake Lynn, Falls Lake, you can see turtles and fish and frogs and bunny rabbits, and it is a very nice place to live. My kids and I have enjoyed all the parks and looking at wildlife for years. So enjoy Raleigh for its nature. Just be aware of, some of those things. The number 6 con. So I have more cons than pros, but I had a lot in those pros. The number 6 con is a quick one: a lack of pro sports. Now, I'm a big hockey fan. I love the Canes, the Hurricane hockey. Go Canes. They are great. They're super fun to watch. But other than that, we have no other pro sports. So if you are an NFL or NBA fan, obviously we don't have those here in Raleigh, but what we do have are colleges. So we have obviously big rivalries: UNC, NC State, Duke, plenty of sports opportunities for you to watch. So that's it. Those are my pros and cons for North Raleigh after living here for nearly 17 years and helping hundreds of clients transition here. If you're considering North Raleigh, there is so much to share that I would love the opportunity to share more with you and help you make a smooth transition to Raleigh. Just take my contact information out of the description below. You can call, text, email, or even set up a Zoom. I help tons of people transition to Raleigh, and I really enjoy sharing my knowledge about Raleigh and the surrounding area. So let's connect. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell below to make sure you don't miss any great content about the Raleigh area. And I would love it if you would comment on the video to let us know what you think. I am Pete Marston, and feel free to check out any of these next videos to learn about living in Raleigh. Check you out next time.